What up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of One Trade Away. I am really trying to get into the grind of providing weekly content. And what we're going to see is this kind of content is going to progress as we continue to move forward in time. But I want to build up the muscle memory of getting this done weekly. And this would include any questions I'm asked in the Discord channels, whether it's the VIP stuff, whether it's the mentorship stuff. This is going to include my weekly breakdown where I discuss the trades I did throughout the week, as well as, any what I call the double tap, right? Any gotcha that I learned the hard way that I want to share with you all. And of course, just giving an insight to what I think is happening in the market and how I'm trading what I'm seeing in the market. That way everybody's on page. So my goal will be to try to get these done from Friday through the weekend, and this will be a recap of Monday through Friday's trades. So I kind of want to dive into it. This is the no frills version, right? So no intro, no outro, no live video of me, but all those things will be coming down the pipe. But let's just hop into the nuts and bolts, the meat and potatoes of what I want to give you all. So last week I didn't do much trading. I think on Monday and Tuesday, a couple of small positions in and out, nothing noteworthy that I can remember. And I have, a pretty straightforward goal and rule. I like, if I can make $1,000 a day in trading, I feel like I'm successful. If I'm shy of it or I don't hit that target, then I don't hit that target, right? But my daily goal is usually about $1,000 a day from a trading perspective. There are times when I make more than that. There are times when definitely times when I make less than that. There are times when I have a bad trading day and I go negative. So I'll share some of those trades where stuff went sideways. I'm going to share trades where things were great. And I'm going to share trades and more so it's not about the money, right? And I always want to make sure I make that clear. It's unfortunately money brings attention and it drives people to feel like you know what you're doing. But it's really not about the money. It's about your risk reward. It's about your management of your money. And it's about your trade setups and what you're taking. And that's kind of what I want to dive into today and just talk about a couple of trades from last week. So the first one I want to talk about is AMD. This was on last Wednesday. I'm going to maximize this. That way we can it can be a little bit bigger for you all. AMD on last Wednesday was grinding up and up and up. And you see some trend lines. These are previous trend lines from things that were happening. But it was on a constant grind up. Right. And you see this, and I often preach in a Discord. I talk about the 8, the 21, the 55, which is this peach line. And then, of course, this gray line is my VWAP. Right. I got the 8, the 21, and the 55 from Know Something Trades. So if you ever want to know whether that came from, just do a Google search, Know Something Trades. He will get you squared away and talk about some of the indicators that he uses for his students. But, we all learn from each other, right? So as you see, grinding up. You're watching the 8, and it's pretty much holding. It'll test, but it never breaks away from the 8, right? Here we get some 21 tests, but boom, it holds it and continues to make new highs. Once I saw this 8 cross over the 21 to the down pattern. It hadn't did this except for the first cross was here, which was a bullish indicator, but it crossed down here. So I started my short position. Now, mind you, there are times when I'll start a quarter size, a half, a full size. It just really depends on the trade and risk reward, right? But I'm going to short here probably for a risk around this area and another half for higher day. And what I'm looking for is I want it to test and break the 55. So once again, the green is the 8, purple's the 21. I want it to break the 55, and I would prefer it to test VWAP. Now, from a risk management perspective, right, every order that I do, whether I'm short or long, always has a stop loss associated, right? I'm busy. We're all busy. I don't have time to watch every single trade, but I know that I can put a stop loss in. And if it hits my stop loss, it's a stop market. So, if this was to surpass this 85, 75s, boom, take me out wherever it feels me. Take me out. Now, I'm not doing limit orders. I want to get in a trade and then I want to get out of a trade, right? So, boom, it broke down. I saw it test, pop up, and continue to break down. I moved my stop loss here, right? I saw it broke down, and now I'm looking at this trend that it made. I'm looking at this horizontal ray I have. It did not, once it broke the 84.88s, 84.89s, 84.90s, I moved my stop loss down some more. And then I saw this wick build, and I just went ahead and killed the stop losses and took profits here, right? That was it for this trade. Now, mind you, if I would have left it here, I could have waited till it tested VWAP. And that's probably the better trade. But there are times when I'm moving in and out of other trades. I saw this pull. I decided to take that bread, right? Once again, I'm always looking for the cross of the 8 to cross this 21. And I'm watching for the confirmation. Even better if the 55 is with the 8 and the 21. Even better if we can have all those things happen sub VWAP. Even better if it's under the 21, right? I'm looking for every indicator to give me conviction and confirmation and that this trade is heading in the downward pattern. That's how I'm normally trading it, right? So that was AMD on Wednesday. Also on Wednesday, I was working at MRK short. Let's find that one down here. Boom, I'm trading MRK and I'm watching. Now, if I look left, you'll often hear me say that about looking left. You will see, let me hit one of these trends here, one of these trend lines. You will see this pattern that it held. I was probably still in the gym at 8:20, 8:30 that morning, 8:35. I was probably on my way home. But you see where the lineup is perfect. Once again, everything's under VWAP as far as price action, and the 8 is holding it down, right? Instantly, I want to be short on that, right? It's broken this trend and it's headed back down. Note, it had a big pop the previous day all the way above the 108s with the breakout at the 108.50s. So yeah, I want a piece of that. So I short, and guess what? Following my rules, I'm just moving my stop down. I see this pop up and I see these wicks. I move my stop down. I'm short, right? And then boom, this comes to retest, takes me out of there, and then takes the rest of me out, right? So we're talking almost a $2 trade for this MRK short. Give me what I need. I'm in and I'm out, and I'm just following my rules, right? Once again, I noticed that it's already converged to the downside. My 8 is below my 21 and my 55, and my 200 is way up here. This is perfect to be short, and it's under VWAP, right? I want to short that. And then if you didn't, and you didn't take profits, you see it start to grind its way back up and then open up back up almost to the 110 levels. So that's why you have to have risk management. And that's why I prefer to have stop losses that I step down over time. That way, every pop, my stop loss is right above it, right above it, right above it. In this case, this was probably down here. And then once I got this big green confirmation, I probably got stopped off right in this area, right? So I'm out. Let's go to another trade. Whoa, what else did I do? SIVB. People was talking about this, have been talking about this for the last 4 days straight, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days in a row. I caught a little bit of SIVB. I didn't see it that morning. Oh my God, if I would have saw it that morning, right? This was on Thursday. I wasn't paying attention when all this price action happened in after hours on Wednesday to then open up Thursday down at 75 points. But by the time I saw this midday on Thursday, I was like, this could go lower. Literally. So I start my short. It's already under the 55. The 8 is here. The 21 is still holding it. Start my short. My risk is right above here or right back here. And then boom, I take it. Now this is, mind you, the short looks small, but when you actually pull this out, because this is dollar for dollar, this is that type of drop that this was, right? So when these wicks, what they tell me is that this is a possible demand zone, right? So I expected the price action to come back up. Then it top wicks, which then says this could be now a supply zone, no demand up here. So then I got this big bull on the red side, right? So this big red candle is bullish on its way down. So a bear candle, but I'm just saying, I'm calling it a bull, but it's pushing its way back down, and price action is roughly about the 50% mark of this candle. And it just starts to turn, hugging this 21, right? Excuse me, hugging this 8, never even touching a 21. And mind you, I'm using a 2-minute chart. I prefer to trade on the 2-minute than the 1-minute or the 5-minute. Start my short into this big red candle and watch it fall. Now, and I'm conservative by taking profits because I'm watching this 127s, right? This is previous support from a long time ago. So I'm watching this 127s. And I want to make sure that I don't end up in a situation where this 127s causes a bounce. So I conservatively, as I'm moving my stops down past this doji candle, moving my stops down, I take profit right above that 127.39 level. And it continues, as we very well know, right? There was some action. I almost caught the 105s. I saw this pop in a post market or after hours. And I almost went short here, but I don't really like shorting after hours because it doesn't allow you to have stop losses in place. You have to manually sit there and exit a trade. I don't like that. But if I would have caught another $25, $30 a share, right, on that. So moving on, SIVB still in play. I'm actually going to talk about it next week for one of my gotchas, for one of my double taps. Last one I want to talk about is FRC. So mind you, we start talking sympathy plays, right? Everything isn't just about the one trade that you're in at that moment. So what you want to do is start to look at some of these other trades that are happening in the sympathy category. FRC is one of them. That following day, when SVB is collapsing, FRC is starting to show very similar trends. So what happened and this is on, I want to say this was, let me double check. This was on Friday. During the halt of SIVB, or heading into that halt zone, you see all these other stocks start to halt down. That's why you see these big skips in price action. They were gapping down on halt, so halting down, and then I saw this candle. This is right here at the 45s. I started to put my entry in, but it halted, and then it halted on the way up. So I caught the 55s on the way up, and all I did was just hold my position. Small relative size. I was in a quarter size. Wasn't in full because you never know what's going to happen. So you have to manage risk. Took a quarter size. It opened up, gapped up almost $10 a share, gapped up another $5, and then gapped up again. Mind you, I had all these levels here. So my target zone was already somewhere between the 75 and 80 because of this big wick I saw in pre-market, right? And I saw the price action back around this 75 zone from this big candle wick here. I said, you know what? I want to target getting out, once again, being conservative, right? Risk management. I want to be able to be conservative and target this area. And that's what I did. I exited here. Really big trade. I want to say this was about $7,500 for this one trade, right? Just being able to catch this gap up and ride the momentum. SIVB started all this and caused this, and this has even moved over into today, which is Monday when I'm recording this. And there are trades that I did today that I want to talk about on this week's upcoming release from One Trade Away. But you've got to be mindful of what's happening in the market and not just get stuck looking at one particular stock or one particular show, but you want to be able to look at the market as a whole. Nonetheless, G Hawkins signing out, One Trading Rate. And remember, folks, at any given moment, you're one trade away from the rest of your life. I'll chat with y'all soon. Peace.